Blue Robo Beetle in a box. Oh boy. 5.2 Toys Nightcrawler today on Guerrilla Reviews. Nightcrawler here is part of what is referred to by 5.2 Toys, and it is 5.2, not 52. Anyway, as the Beastbox line. Basically, rather than have the characters that they create transform into just a bunch of things, they transform into one thing. A cube. Although I have to admit, with knowing that whole square is a rectangle, rectangle is not a square, it's hard to tell if this is a perfect cube or not, but it's close enough. It's in a little box, and indeed, once we unlift this part out, well, it's a good thing it's a robot, otherwise this would be a little bit freaky, wouldn't it? Now, I will take one note to mention one thing. I imagine the other beetle that they have in this, Devil Dart, has the same problem. In fact, I'm certain of it because I saw some of the reviews. These tiny little missiles. Now, they do have ports where they go in, but the ball sockets where they connect are very tight. So getting them in and out can be a pain, figuratively and literally. So for the purposes of this review, I will show these to you, but I will be laying them to the side and telling you where they go later, because I am not keen on losing them. And yes, there are different sizes, well, two different sizes. This is what's I'll refer to as the standard size. There's also the Mega Box, which is a much larger figure. It's also rather more complex. But still, for what is affectionately referred to as a third-party line, this is surprisingly affordable for under 30 bucks a figure. For the regular ones, anyway. If that excites you. Now, moving on to transformation, it's going to get interesting. First, we'll disconnect what will be the legs, lay them out like that, lay that part down. Next, we will come up here, lift this part up a little bit, then we will fold out what will be the main body. Then we bring them around. No, actually, fold this part partially down, then bring them around. This can be surprisingly tricky. Okay, here we go. Let's try it like this. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, then we twist these around anyway. Fold up this panel, because then it'll able to actually go through this strut here. Then fold in. Fold this part down. Fold this part down twice. There are little pegs where that connects to. Fold out this and extend what will be the front legs. Like so. Fold these down and kind of switchblade these out. Eventually. Okay, there we go. And fold out the horn. Fold out the other legs and separate. Fortunately, they have ball joints, very tight ones too, I might add. That will make that relatively easy. And let's see here. And I have to fiddle with it a little bit to get that look like it's actually doing something there. All right, there we go. Nightcrawler in insect mode. There we go. As for size comparison, here we have Legacy Skids. So it's roughly the size of a small deluxe, at least this one is. Size, of course, may vary depending on which figure and the type of animal it is, relatively speaking. But since they all fit in the same little cube, they're all relatively the same mass, and a decent heft it is too. Very nice to note. Now, since this is effectively a beetle, it seems to be a combination of both a Hercules and a Rhino beetle. It does have these 3 horns as opposed to just either the 2 or the 1. But it also has opening wings. You just flip this part out here, and well, if you want to keep it a natural beetle, it probably wouldn't have this. But if we fold out this part here and this here, we actually do have wings. We even have something resembling a cockpit for this part, right, for the head right there. Silly, but it's something you can do. You can also fold in the legs to get even more of a jet-like effect. And that has to excite somebody. An important note about where you can actually put the missiles, you can have them either hanging above or below the wing here. There's also ports there, probably more supposed to be exhaust ports, but that's neither here nor there. You can also install the missiles this way on the cockpit section, or in when it's in its box form, you can put is a direction say you can put it in there. I haven't been able to do that, but that's mostly because it's getting those missiles anywhere on this figure can be murder on your hands, which is the primary reason why you didn't see it. As for the remainder of the articulation, as you saw, these legs, the front legs are on a ball joint and can move inward and a little bit of outward. The forelegs are on the ball joints as well as a hinge on 2 points, so you do have as much articulation as an actual beetle would have. And imagine if you're Japanese, that's probably an amazing thing, because I know that the Japanese they're obsessed with their beetles and their beetle men. Now, one thing I should mention is that either Pia or Ball Matrix did mention that some of the parts were a little looser in theirs as opposed to Devil Dart. That looks to be just a manufacturing thing, but it is something to keep in mind. And as you've seen, my other joints here are fairly tight for what I need them to do. Oh, and you can get a little bit of head waggle for something. Now, as for getting one yourself, they're available on TF Source, Big Bad Toy Store, even on Amazon. So there are plenty of venues where you can find the Beastbox line. And chances are, even if this particular one doesn't excite you, there are plenty more animals and even characters that may just tickle your fancy. I mean, they've even got a regular size, I know they have an aliens, as in the Xenomorph alien, in either this size or the Mega Box size. They've even got the Power Loader as a Mega Box. So if you wanted a transforming Power Loader from Aliens, and an alien itself, that's an option for you. Anyway, I do recommend this this figure anyway. I might get a couple more, depending on if I can find anything, or if I can decently get a hold of a Devil Dart. Bit of a weird thing that went on there. I won't go into it here. Anyway, I am the Deceptiwolf. This has been 52 Toys Beastbox Nightcrawler. And again, I remind you all, free your mind, free your toys.